Hi everyone, it's Erlene of Erlene Garcia Art and the Hollywood Carney channel on YouTube. Today I would like to share with you how I made these drawstring bags that have metaphysical charms hanging on them, and I stamped the fabric. So this is so exciting. So let me show you what you need to create one of these. Fabric markers of your choice. I'm using Arteza. I just recently bought them and I wanted to try it and share it with you guys. You will need an ink pad that stamps on fabric, a variety of stamps, an iron, some silky cord. I bought that at the dollar store. A lighter to burn the ends, needle and thread or a sewing machine, a rotary cutter or scissors, a bodkin or safety pin, and a variety of fabric. I also used heat bond, which is specialty paper that has sticky stuff on it, and you can turn fabric into a patch. Now that's totally optional, but I would totally recommend it. You will also be needing some charms if you have any that you want to put on your bag, and some jump rings. Jump rings are the little O-rings that we will be connecting the charms to the straps. These are the jump rings, and you will be needing a couple of pair of needle nose pliers. Now let's go through the stamps and see which ones I want to use on the bag. I found it easier to put the stamp pad on top of the stamp. To me, it makes a better impression on the fabric, and don't oversaturate the stamp. Now, if your stamp is unmounted, you can use an acrylic block. I'm using cotton fabric, and this is an excellent project to use all of those stamps that you've been collecting. Before you start to color, make sure that your imprinted image is completely dry. Otherwise, you will get black ink on your lighter markers. I'm using purple in the darker areas, and I found that when you're using these markers, go in one direction. Otherwise, your fabric is going to buckle or crinkle up. Also, these markers have two tips, one at each end. One is for fine detail, and the other one is a thicker brush. When coloring, like her lips or the little flowers on her head, I'm dotting it just so I don't go past the lip line. And also, I'm just adding a little bit of extra detail on my own, like her nail polish. I love the color of this Cheyenne pink fabric that I chose for this particular drawstring bag. When you're choosing fabric, make sure it's 100% cotton. And when you're shopping for the fabric, you don't have to buy a full yard. You can buy 7 or 8 inches, and it'll be about 36 inches long. 36 by 7 or 8 should give you plenty to make at least 2 or 3 little drawstring bags. I also used muslin, and that accepted the color so nicely. My next video is going to be on designing a fabric mask out of your Frida Kahlo stamps, and it really came out looking like a piece of art. So that will be something to look forward to. And so you're probably wondering, what do you do with the little drawstring bag? You can use it as a gift bag. You can keep your stones and crystals in it, or your chakra stones. You can use it for your gree-gree or a money bag. Put your tarot cards in there, runes, your mojo bag, amulet, talisman, spell bag, your magical herbs, or your sacred found objects. You could do a multitude of things with these little drawstring bags. You could even sell them like I do. So just, sky's the limit. Plus, if you're creative in any way, I'm sure that you must have a lot of stamps from even making greeting cards. So look at your art pieces in a different way. And if you don't have stamps, some people take celery and they cut the edge off. And if you stamp that, it will look like a rose. Or if you cut an apple in half, there's a star in the middle. So think outside of the box when you're choosing different items to stamp with if you don't have stamps. Also, some of the dollar stores and 99-cent stores or Dollar Kings, I've noticed that they have different types of stamps in there as well. So if you just want to give this a try without making a large investment, that's another great way to go too. Or you can order, obviously stamps online, or you can take a potato, cut it in half, and carve an image. I recently bought one of those aluminum straws that had a crystal attached to it. And I'm thinking, wow, how am I going to carry this in my purse without it getting dirty? And then I thought, oh, okay, I'll just make a little drawstring bag. Fortunately, it did come with a drawstring bag. But again, you could make drawstring bags for some of your sunglasses, or, something that might be bulky like makeup. So back to the coloring. What I'm doing is I'm taking 2 or 3 colors and blending them together. So even if you start with a red to outline the facial features, you can choose orange next and then yellow. I'm using those particular colors on here because this is a darker fabric. And I really want the colors to pop like a really nice piece of art. So if you decide to sell this type of drawstring pouch, make sure that once you're done sewing it together, that all little tiny threads are cut off, and that you iron the pouch. That is very important, so it looks really nice and crisp. Some of the markers I've been reading online, they say that this particular one, you don't have to heat set it with an iron. I did, just to be on the safe side, since this is my first time using these types of markers, and I am not a paid spokesperson for this. I just like them, and they were a very reasonable price. I think they were around $21 or $22. I did see some at the Dollar King, but whenever I used the ones at the Dollar King, they were dried out. And I saw some at Hobby Lobby, and they were about $3 an ink pen. So just do a little research before you decide to make this purchase. I will be using these markers a lot until they run out, and then I'll be on to my next art project. I do make a lot of different types of items, handbags, greeting cards, jewelry, all kinds of fun things. I have my hands in everything, paint, you name it, I've done it, and I just like to have fun and try things out. And I'm trying these out for the first time and wanted to share with you guys just in case someone is thinking about trying it. And okay, so there I go. I'm heat setting the back. Oh, this is a great product too. This is Heat and Bond, and it takes your fabric pieces and turns them into like patches. I think this is like the greatest thing ever. So once you cut out your image, you're going to place it on the bumpy side of the Heat and Bond. Now, be careful with your iron because this is an adhesive and it will stick to your iron, and you don't want to transfer that to another item that you might be ironing. I decided to take a blank piece of fabric, iron it to the Heat and Bond, and then stamp on it to see if there was any difference. There wasn't really any difference. So you just do you, whatever way is easy for you. But be careful because once you iron it, it is hot. Give it a few seconds to cool off, and then just peel it off, and then it's going to be shiny. What I did with my image after I ironed it, I cut around it because I'm planning on sewing around it. And look how shiny that is. That means that the adhesive took the right way. So I am just going to iron it on this fabric, and I found that fabric at the thrift shop. I sewed around, and this bag is not going to be lined. I'm just going to sew about 1/8 of an inch seam, and at the top I'm going to leave it open about 1.5 inches. I ironed down the edges here so it would be easy for you to see what I'm talking about. I'm just going to fold that down and make a seam allowance. Now you can sew those 2 points down if you desire. I did it's not necessary. But it is very important that you leave the casing wide enough like I did there. That's about a 1/2 inch so we can put our drawstring through it. I did go around the edge with a zigzag stitch just so it wouldn't unravel. And then what I'm going to do is just cut the corners off very close. Do not cut your seams. And that makes it appear with a nice corner when you reverse your bag and use something like a chopstick to poke the corners so it would look really nice. And I ironed it. Look at that, it's almost done. Let me just show you another example really quick before we finish that bag. This bag has a single casing, which means I only sewed up one side, not both sides like on this bag. So what we're going to do is cut about 14 inches of this silky cord. Now, it is kind of ravelly. What I like to do is take a lighter and burn the edge. Be very careful when working with fire. If you're under 18, get an adult to do it for you. Now, grab a safety pin or a bodkin. The bodkin is a great invention. It has a disc that slides down and it clamps your ribbon or your cord and it holds it in place as you thread your cording through the casing. Now, of course, the safety pin will work as well. Again, make sure that your casing is at least 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So whatever cord or ribbon that you will be sliding through there, that you have enough room for it. This cord is about 4 millimeters in diameter, so it's a pretty good size. And then once you string it all the way through, just do a basic overhand knot, and this is just a single string drawstring bag. So let's do the double string drawstring bag. That's a tongue twister. So what we're going to do is take about 14 inches and go through both of the casings on this bag, and then we're going to again tie an overhand knot. You want to have both of your strings going in opposite directions. So what I like to do, it makes it easy for me, is I will flip the bag over and go in right to left and through both sides. This is our second piece of the 14-inch cording. And once we get this in there and go through, okay, looks like I'm having a little trouble there. Push it all the way through. When you pull it out, don't pull too hard because you don't want to have to restring it again. And then once we get it out, before you tie your knot, make sure that you can pull on both handles going in opposite directions, and then tie another overhand knot, and we're almost done. So be sure and burn the edges again. And what I'm going to do is kind of like melt them together, then I don't have to worry about them coming apart. Again, be careful when working with fire. Oh my gosh, I love this bag. And again, don't forget to trim off any little tiny threads. And so we have one more thing we need to do, and this is totally optional, but I always like to hang a little matching metaphysical charm on top of these drawstring bags. So take your split ring, jump ring, O-ring. I know a lot of people call them different names, but it is a jump ring. Open it front to back, and then we are going to put our charm on it and connect it to one of the handles and close the jump ring the exact same way. And make sure that both the edges of the jump ring, that they're meeting together because you don't want your charm to fall off. And we will do the exact same thing on the other side. I've been selling accessories for a very long time, and I found that whenever I include information about a charm or a crystal, that the customer loves it. It increases your sales. So if you have a little information card, something you can print out on your computer, a couple of sentences, they will appreciate it. And they'll keep coming back. Now let's look at the other bags that I did. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. This one I used about 3 or 4 colors, just the basic stamps. I didn't go into a lot of detail. A different color to enhance the moon, so that looks really cool. This is also a two-tone bag. I didn't colorize it, but I did add the charms, and that would look nice with a nice piece of jewelry inside as a gift. This one is a little bit wider. I could see you putting the Holy Palo Santo wood or selenite in it. This next one, oh, that would be great for some oracle cards or your tarot cards. Oh, that one would be cool for your little spell bottles. And this one, because the fabric is thicker, that would be perfect for your little specialty magical oils. And oh man, that would be cute for a little notepad and a pencil to write down your spells or your fairy magic. And this one, well, this one is totally up to you for whatever magical essence that you have that you want to incorporate in there. I designed these for the believers of personal magic, and I wish you good luck with all of your mystical workings. I hope that I flooded your mind with some creative ideas. So let me know how your bags come out. And if you have time, stop by my Etsy store. And if you want to see some super cool videos, subscribe. And thank you for taking the time to be with me today. Have a happy day. Bye.